Hello, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 19th. Happy May 19th, Kane. And you're listening to the Magician with a Microphone podcast. I am your host, Chris Langle of Chris Langle Magic. And guys, the hell, I haven't had a podcast in 3 weeks, maybe even longer. I don't even remember the last time I put up a podcast, but okay, I guess this one's up. My mind has been all over the place as of late. I have been dealing with inner demons. Unfortunately, they absolutely kicked the shit out of me over the weekend, and I ended up bailing from the food truck battles event over the weekend that I was supposed to be doing, and I'll get into all of that in a second. But it just sucks because I'm slowly starting to once again lose my passion for what I do with my magic shows and everything. And, you know, my mind has just been on the track of, well, you suck, so don't bother, performing because you suck. And I hate when it gets like that because there's really nothing I can do except for sit back and accept it, and with all the problems that I've got going on at home, doesn't make it any better. But we're going to talk about some wrestling today. We're going to talk about golf. We're going to talk about, we're actually going to talk about Monster Jam too. Monster Jam World Finals is this weekend. And we'll get into my love of monster trucks and everything. But let me just get all the bad shit out of the way first. Then we'll get into the good shit, okay? Because we gotta start off by getting all of the negativity out of the way. Let's just throw it all out there, right? And then let's get into the fun, the good talk, the shit that makes me happy. Last week, I actually recorded a podcast, and I was talking about the podcasts and the online multimedia that I have partaken in the last couple of years. And about halfway through that podcast, my grandmother called me and told me that my uncle, well, it's like a second uncle, but he was still close to the family, they had found him dead in a fire. So I shut down and I couldn't finish the podcast, which is why I didn't upload it last week. So there was a recorded podcast. And then lately, my depression, which has been really bad, really, I'm not going to say unbeatable, but very crippling. It's very hard. Anyone who struggles with depression knows. Depression is one of those things where it comes in waves. There are some days when you're really good. There's some days when you can't get out of bed. And unfortunately, I've been on the streak of it's been really bad and I can't get out of bed. And when I do, I just want to, I want to do things that I'm not allowed to talk about, especially lately. And it hit me the worst over the weekend. Over the weekend was the food truck battles in Naugatuck, Connecticut, and my friend Dave Riley was running it with Stick It Graphics, and he had a bunch of sponsors through the local bank and one of the realtor companies and our other mutual friend and lawyers and a bunch of stuff. So he had a bunch of sponsors. This thing was the biggest food truck event probably in New England. And I was scheduled to be on both days. Well, I got there, and, first off, I want to preface this by saying this, just in case anyone hears this and it gets back to them. I did intend on staying the 2 days. I was fully prepared to do both days, okay? I get there, and first off, it was as organized as you can possibly have it, okay? This was one of those events where you would think that it was going to be absolute chaos, and it wasn't. It was very organized. It was, everybody had their place. Everybody knew where they needed to go and what they needed to do. And workers were doing things, and it was very well put together. And it was going to be me, our friend Larry Stevens out of Maryland, and this magician Gemini, who I was under the impression was straight out of Las Vegas. Turns out he's from Jersey. And you could tell he's from Jersey. He's got the Jersey accent. Hey, how you doing? I'm from Jersey. You know, shit like that. And his entire fucking gimmick and routine is the streets. Yo, when I was in New York, I was on the streets. I was performing on the streets, you know? And he works with a lot of fire. And I'm not talking down about this guy at all. He is an absolute fantastic performer. His fire management, the work that he does with fire magic is phenomenal. He's a fire eater. He's a fire handler. But I noticed a lot of his tricks were fire. And I'm like, all right, well, people like fire, I get it. But don't do it so much and make sure you got the permits. I don't think they had the proper permits. I don't know. Maybe they did. All I know is that, like, he was doing the fire stuff and, like, the fire marshal came in and was, like, kind of giving that look like, what are you doing? So, and I know that look because my stepfather is a fire marshal here in Ansonia. And whenever I was learning and I wanted to do fire magic, the first thing he would do is go outside. He would tell me, don't do that in the house. Make sure you don't do that inside of any buildings, which is why him burning all of that into my brain is why I don't do fire magic. I would love to, but I don't want to get in trouble. Because all word eventually does get back to the right person. And if it does, then you get into trouble and you probably lose rights to do shit. So, anyway, Gemini's work is magnificent. He's a great ventriloquist. He's a fantastic magician, performer. He's got the personality, the swagger. And Larry is another one who has just a fantastic routine. He does it to music and a television, which is coordinated to his stunts and all, or not really his stunts, but his tricks. And, you know, he goes by a storyline, and then you got me. You got me, this fucking, I'm pulling fucking kids' magic tricks out because it's all I have to work with, because my show sucks, because I don't invest in my show, because I don't have the money for it, because it sucks. And all this time, I'm looking at these guys, then I look at my shit, and I just started to feel really, really fucking, not bad, but small. I think that's the best word I can use. I felt very out of place, inadequate. Like I didn't need to be there. Like I wasn't suitable or well prepared enough to do this event, because I'm seeing what they're doing and then I'm seeing what I was doing, and it's just night and day. So I did my first show, and now the thing that I thought was going to happen was I thought we were going to be doing my show and then Larry's show and then Gemini's show, and, you know, so it'd be like a set schedule. No, the only thing the schedule said was Kids Magic Show this time, Kids Magic Show this time, Comedy Ventriloquist this time. Mind you, this is all the same shit because it's all coming from us, but there was no set performance. So they came up with the idea to just split every show into 3 performances. I go out and do something, Larry goes out and does something, and then Gemini ends it. You would think that'd be good, right? Well, it didn't really work out that well. So I went out, I did my Vanishing Card stage, my guitar from the book, my straitjacket, my rings, my floating carpet, then my straitjacket escape. And the crowd was dead. The crowd was not enjoying it at all. I mean, they were enjoying it. I just, I could have gotten better reactions. And when that happens, then I get really critical on myself, and I get very, I become a really big critic. And I am my own worst critic because I don't think anything I do is good. And it just showed. So after the disaster of a first performance, I packed all my shit up. I was like, I'm not doing shows today. I'm doing close-up magic. I'm going to do what I do best. And I did for about an hour. Because then I started fucking up on the close-up magic. And then the more I would fuck up, the more it would hit me. And then the more it would hit me, the more my depression would kick in. And then it got to the point where I was just sitting in the back and off to the side on my phone, not wanting to be there because I felt inadequate. I felt that I did not belong, that I was contributing nothing, and that my performances were bringing the other guys down. And there's no worse feeling as a performer than your lack of ability. You think that your lack of ability brings down the other performers. There's no worse feeling. Because when people see a magic show, they remember everything. They don't remember just one thing. They'll remember everybody who's there. And if everybody saw me and said, wow, he sucked, they're going to think, oh, well, Gemini's was good, but, that other guy was just god-awful, And I would hate to do that. So that was itching at me all day. I left early. My girlfriend got there because she was going to be part of the bigger show that night, which, from what I understand, was great. She was telling me it was there were a lot of people, and it was a lot of fun, and I guess the show was just kick-ass. But then again, really anything that Dave Riley puts together is kick-ass just because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So I left early. I didn't stay for the last show. I told them that I was not staying for the last show because I just wanted to get home. I wasn't feeling good. After the first show, I did my straitjacket escape. I went backstage and then I ran to the bathroom and threw up because I was dry heaving after I did the straitjacket. Like, I felt like I was having a fucking heat stroke. And it wasn't. I don't know what it was, but I threw up. I don't throw up often. The last time I did is when I had a heat stroke when I did the straitjacket escape, but it was in 85-degree weather outside at a festival. So I didn't stick around. I didn't think I was needed. Sunday, I just didn't go. I couldn't get myself out of bed. I woke up at like 8:30 in the morning, knowing that I had to be there for 11. I stared at my ceiling until 10:45. I can hear my kids upstairs. I can hear my grandmother tending the kids. I could not get out of bed. My depression was so bad. And a lot of it stems from the fact that I've got the kids with me. And again, like I tell everybody, as horrible as it sounds, my life was a hell of a lot better before October of last year. But unfortunately, it's how my life is now. So I just didn't go. And I made the decision that day that I'm going to take a break from doing performances for a while. I'm not quitting. I just want to take a break and try to fix my head. So I actually went and canceled a bunch of magic shows. Surprisingly, none of them from the tour. And I'll get into why in a minute. But it just sucks that somebody like me, and you guys know how passionate I am about this and about what I do. It sucks that I get into these mindsets, because now it's Sunday. I'm questioning my life. I'm questioning, am I worth performing? Am I, performing in front of people? Am I worth coming out to see? Which, let's face it, I would not buy a ticket to my show. And usually that's a red flag. Yeah, I've bombed the last... Oh, that's another thing. I bombed that show. Like, I went out there, and I forgot my lines. I was off balance. I was forgetting certain cues. Like, it was bad. And then because I didn't have a headset, I have to keep going back over to the fucking microphone so that way I can talk so people can hear me. So there's that. So all day Sunday, I'm like, you know what? Is this worth it? Should I even try? Should I even be doing this? Why am I investing my time in this? Why do I advertise myself to do this when I know I'm not good? Why don't I just keep doing the close-up magic and call it a day? And I would do the close-up magic and call it a day. Unfortunately, I get bookings more for shows than I do anything. I would love to do close-up magic 4 or 5 nights a week. I can't because I've got the kids at home and I have no freedom, but I would love to do 4 nights, 5 nights a week, just doing close up like a restaurant or, some sort of gig like that. But then I get a text from Dave. I'm not going to get into the details of what we were saying and the explanation that I gave him, but basically we came to the conclusion that I'm not working with him anymore because I bailed on him, and it wasn't fair. It was unprofessional, and put a lot of pressure on him, and it made him look bad. So I even told him, I was like, I don't blame you if you don't want me to work with you anymore. I'm not going to take offense to that. That was my fault. Which is what it comes down to. It's like, I told him I'd be there and I ended up bailing, and that's unprofessional, and I apologized, and I'm still sorry, and, I'm going to be sorry because I do genuinely feel bad. But basically my reasoning was I wasn't at my top, and I didn't want to make you look bad by showing up and doing horribly. So I'd rather just not come and avoid all of that. Because the last thing I would have wanted was to go there and have everybody who talks about the magic show say it sucked because I was performing like shit. And that's going to reflect badly on him. So. But let's get into the good stuff. Now that that's out of the way, I am taking a break from performing for a little bit. I am rebuilding more of my show. I always say I'm rebuilding, but this time I'm investing. I bought $530 worth of magic the other night to add to my show. Things I've wanted. You know what I mean? When you're building a show, you have to cater to 2 people. The people in the audience and yourself. If you're doing a show that you hate, that you wouldn't pay to see, but other people like it, go ahead. Like that's good. That's basically what I'm doing, I would not pay to see my show. I wouldn't voluntarily go to my own magic show. But for some reason, children like it, and adults like adults like watching their children enjoy things. So, according to other people, it's good. But to me, it sucks. But when you get your own satisfaction out of your show and you think that you actually have something good, then you could become more proud of it, and then you could become more willing to do it, and then you get better. And it shows. Trust me, it shows. There was one point in my life where I was happy with my show. My problem is I listen to people. And I'm going to preface this by saying I listen to people with the best possible intent that I could. I'm always open to taking advice. My problem with taking advice, though, is when you're giving me advice and then somebody else is giving me advice and then somebody's advice contradicts the other person's advice, and then say you want me to change something about my show, so I go ahead and do that. And I take your advice, and then somebody else tells me, no, that's shit, you shouldn't do it. Do it this way. And then you got the third person saying, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way. After a while, you're like, what the fuck? Who do I listen to? Whose advice do I take? What do I do? The last couple of people that have been giving me performing advice, have been Dave and Gemini recently when I met him that one time, and Larry, and I'm getting advice from people on TikTok all the time. People from TikTok all the time are telling me, "Oh, you should do it this way." But all the advice is not necessarily the same, but contradicts what I do. Okay? You guys know me. If anybody's ever seen my show, you know how I do things. I'm a storyteller. I'm not somebody who can shut up and just perform and not talk. Because to me, everything needs a story. Well, not everything needs a story, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of explanation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing in order to make it more enjoyable to watch. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I love magic that has to go to music. I love silent magic. I'm just not good at that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not good at splicing routines together. I'm not good at taking multiple types of effects and turning them into one gradual 10-minute storyline and not talking. You know, that's why what I do, it's one single effect, well, with the exception of one routine, and I'm actually working on building another one, hopefully, if all the shit comes out on time. One routine in particular is a silent routine. But, I mean, I've done this routine for years, and I actually used to do it to Patter, and I would talk about what I was doing. But Teller from Penn and Teller told me that, you know, not everything needs Patter. And when he says something like that, you fucking listen, because when somebody who usually doesn't talk gives you good advice, that's advice you need to take. And I've heard it from other people. I've heard it from guys, you know, I've asked questions about my show to other magicians. And mind you, I hate other magicians, but I'll listen to what they have to say. But lately, everybody's telling me, dude, just don't talk. Just do it to music. Adults like music. And I'm like, well, what about what I do? They're like, oh, you know, you should get this. You should get this. Invest in this. Well, what about the shit that I've got? What's so hard about helping me with what I have? You know? You can't just expect me to go and drop thousands of dollars on an illusion show. But at the same time, I kind of have to because I hate my show and I think it sucks. I don't have anything big in my show, if that makes any sense. I have no big things. I don't do fire. I don't do fireworks. I don't work with animals. I don't do any card manipulation, no sleight of hand, anything like that. All of my stuff it's storytelling, self-working, and you know, I bring audience members up to help me. But all of the advice that I was getting, that's what made me depressed. And, you know, I was like, well, fuck, if I'm not doing it good enough and I'm trying to impress you and you and you and what the fuck, what about me? You know? But the ultimate rule in the performing world is it's not about you, it's about them. So that's what I got to consider. But yeah, I have invested a couple of dollars into new magic tricks I'm going to be getting pretty soon. There's one trick in particular I'm really excited for, and I can't wait to start doing it on stage because it's a powerful effect. Yeah, it's going to require me talking, but let me tell you, this is a pretty damn cool thing. And then, on top of that, I've got my golf review channel that's starting to kick up again. So when I'm getting pissed off about my show, I could just go out on the course and play and make a couple bucks doing a review. I just did a couple of reviews 2 weeks ago. Wasn't able to do any this past weekend because, again, I had the food truck event, even though it could have technically gone Sunday. But this upcoming weekend, I've got 4 rounds. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I'm playing. Friday, I have no idea where I'm going. Saturday, I have no idea where I'm going. Sunday, I'm going to Laurel View Country Club in Hamden. It's going to be the very first ever Mulligan review, which is basically where I'm giving them a second chance because for those of you who don't know, if you guys ever get the chance to look at my YouTube channel, CT Golf Reviews, Laurel View Country Club, which I had played a couple of times before I started my channel, is the lowest rated golf course on my channel. It has a, 4 point something. Actually, let me look it up. The only one that is lower is a course called Short Beach Golf Course in Stratford, Connecticut. And that is low because it's a par 3 course, but I also was not happy with a couple of things. But it's also in a different classification than a regular 18-hole course as opposed to a par 3/executive course where they're not full courses, if that makes any sense. Let me see what the review is. Laurel View Country Club has a 4.7 rating on my review out of 36 golf courses, the highest being an 8.9. Which I think is going to be the highest for a while. And the reason why I say that is because I try not to give out 9s, because I think 9s you have to be elite. And I'll never give out a 10. I rate things like Barstool rates their pizza. That's actually where I got the inspiration for the rating, is how Barstool rates their pizza. So, but I'm re-reviewing Laurel View because I've seen pictures on their Facebook page, and it looks like it's a lot cleaner. It looks like they've cleared a lot of stuff out. It looks like they actually invested in a lawnmower. And I'm going to make the stuff very well known on Sunday when I review their course. And I have to talk about all the things that I didn't like before. Which I'm going to actually watch my review like that morning, so that way I know what to talk about. And I'll compare it. Because there's certain things that really stuck out on the review. Like their greens literally disintegrating in some places. Their bunkers are like baking soda. It's like if you hit out of it, you might as well just be hitting out of mud. It was disgusting. The grass was not kept up. The tee boxes are awful. The only reason why I was easy on them for their scenery is because literally 3 weeks beforehand, a tornado hit the course. I'm not even joking when I say that, because I even say in my review, it looks like a tornado hit the place because it did. Like 3 weeks prior, a tornado ripped through the center of the course, ripped up a whole bunch of trees, did plenty of damage to Sleeping Giant State Park. Plenty of damage. And yeah, the tornado fucked a lot up, like bad. So I gave them the leeway with that. Now, Sunday, they've had time to clean up their stuff. They've had time to clean their bunkers. They've had time to fix all of this. And you know it's bad when the GM of the course is reaching out to me saying, hey, give us another chance. We cleaned up a lot of our stuff. And I'm going, all right, I will. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be easy. And if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you. And the thing that made me really bitter, is their head pro broke my 2-iron, snapped it in half. After I showed him that I bent it on an exposed root on their course, because, you know, they don't fucking clean things. I bent my 2-iron, which sucked because that was like one of my favorite clubs. And instead of like seeing like, oh yeah, we could fix this, he takes his foot, puts it on the center of the shaft, and breaks the thing in half. And I'm like, what the fuck is that all about? Why did you do that, buddy? Like, what the fuck? So, yeah. Laurel View Country Club. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I want them to do good. I hope they get a better score. I hope I can rate them at least a 6. I hope. Because as horrible as the course is, the layout is great, and it actually has potential to be a top course in the state. They just don't take care of it. That's the sad part, is it has potential. Which is, I think that's why I was so hard on it. You know? But let's see. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow, again, I have no idea where I'm playing. I'm probably gonna go and play because I don't have any gigs tomorrow. I'm probably gonna go and play. I don't know. I'll probably go and play Greenwoods. See if I can call and book a tee time. And if I can't play there, I'll see if I can get I might be able to get Fairview Farms. And that's another place I have a feeling is going to get a really high score. Because my girlfriend and I went there the other day, and I flew my drone over the course, and the first thing I'm thinking is, holy shit, this place is pretty. And they have a double green. There's a double green there. A double green, for those of you who don't know, is 2 greens in 1. There's only 2 other courses that I've ever played that have that. And actually, one of them is Laurel View, and then the other one is Pomprog. But this one looks fucking gigantic. So I'm looking forward to that. And then Saturday, I don't know where I'm going to play. I'm probably going to try to play... I'll probably try to go and play one of the tradition courses. Maybe Oak Lane. Never been there before. Kind of want to get out there before they change owners. And then Sunday, I've got Laurel View. And then Monday, I've got Farmington Country Club, which... I've been there, but I've never played there. So I did a golf... No, it wasn't even golf. Long before I was playing golf. I did a gig there a couple years ago for a guy named Steve. And I'll never forget this. It was a small business tournament. They were doing some sort of tournament to raise money for something. And I go there. I only charged them like $300. Because I was like, all right, it's going to be close. Hour close at Magic. It's fine. I walked out of there with $3,000. Because rich people will tip you if they enjoy what you're doing. And they did. So, yeah, that was a great night. And haven't seen the guys since. Haven't gotten hired since. Haven't seen anybody from that party since. They all have my info, so hopefully they call me. But, yeah. And then it's actually right next door to Tunxus. So, that'll be another place that I can say that I have played. Because my goal with my golf channel is to be able to review like every course in the state, private and public. That's my goal. And I think it's going to get to the point, because like I called a couple of courses recently and they said, nah, no thank you. I think when they start to see my courses go from 30 courses, if they start seeing that I've done over 50, they're probably going to be like, well, we kind of want to get in on this, Because there's more public courses in the state than there are private. I think. So. But yeah, go check me out. CT Golf Reviews on YouTube. Let's talk really quickly about Monster Jam. The World Finals are this weekend. For those of you who don't know, because I've actually never talked about it on here, I am an avid, die-hard Monster Truck fan. I like Monster Jam more than I like wrestling. I've been following Monster Jam since I was 2 years old. Long before it was actually called Monster Jam. But I have liked Monster Trucks since I was 2 years old. I've been going to shows since I was 2, back at the old New Haven Coliseum, which is no longer there. I remember seeing Bigfoot versus Gravedigger. I was at the last show that Bigfoot was ever a part of Monster Jam. I remember that. Let's see. I have a picture of me sitting on Bigfoot's tire. I was at a couple of Monster Jam Bash at the Beach events. Or not Bash at the Beach. Thunder on the Beach. Bash at the Beach is WCW. So I was at a couple of those. There was a time when I went to 12 or 13 straight shows. Consecutively, like 12, 13 straight years of shows. And then I got kicked out of one Monster Jam event and haven't been back since. And that's only because the person who was in charge of the backstage, I brought in... All right, so let me backtrack, actually, on how I got there. I met Pat Suma, the driver of Thrasher Monster Truck. Well, he was the driver. He has since retired. But I showed him some magic tricks. That's how I met my friend Tony. And I've been friends with these guys ever since. This is, Jesus Christ, 10 years ago now. And... I got invited down to Bridgeport for a Monster Jam event. Got to go backstage, help them tire down the truck, tire up the truck, put all the cool shit together. I got to go down into the pits, all that shit. And I was doing magic tricks in the pits. And it was really fucking cool. And it was like a dream come true. So ever since then, I kind of had an in with Monster Jam. And every year that they would come to Webster Bank Arena down in Bridgeport, which is now Total Mortgage Arena, I would go backstage with the Thrasher team. And I started making friends with the drivers. And like, if there were drivers there that I knew who were going to be back, I'd just sign in with them and we'd be in the back hanging out. And there were times I opened up Monster Jam. I literally went out and did a magic trick for everybody. And fucking, it was amazing. And the amount of people that I met, and the friends that I made that I still talk to, it's great, you know? And every year, I would make it a habit of either going to Subway or Dunkin' Donuts because they were right down the street from the arena, and I'd get everybody in the back food. Coffee, donuts, sandwiches, whatever they wanted, I'd get it for them. And one year, I went in the back. I had everybody's food because I was talking to one of the drivers, like, hey, ask around, what do you guys want? I'm going. It's on me. Don't worry about it. I went in. I got everybody their food. And then I went into the pits, and then I got confronted by security. Hey, they think you're sneaking in. You need to leave. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you think they think I'm sneaking? What do you mean? What? I just bought everybody Dunkin' Donuts. They know I'm here. What the fuck? I got a wristband. Oh, those wristbands aren't good. Those are only for pre-show admittance into the back. Once the show starts, you need to take those off and go back to the crowd. You're not allowed down here. So the show hasn't started yet. It's still the pit party. Well, this is considered the beginning of the show. What the fuck? Like, well, Donna wants you out. I said, don't worry. Tell Donna I'm out of here. And I walked out and I never went back. That was 6 years ago. Which sucks because that was a really good connection. And because of something stupid, I had to let it go. But I got to hang out with drivers. I got to help out in the back with all of the shows. I got to... My friends and I would, like, spray paint the cars. Like, I'll never forget, me and a couple of the drivers are hanging up in the VIP area in one of the box seats, and I had my cards, and I was doing card tricks. And the way that Webster Bank Arena is set up, you got the box seats above the regular seats, but they're open. They're not glassed in. So one of the drivers is like, I'll bet you $100 you can't take a playing card and hit the Jumbotron with it. And I'm like, don't fucking tempt me. So, and I'll never forget, I took the first playing card, I threw it, and I got maybe a foot away from the Jumbotron, and it like stops and it flutters down into the track. And track security is down there, and they see what I'm doing. They're like, hey, you can't be doing that. You're going to make a mess. And I hollered down at them. I'm like, I promise you I will be down there, and I will clean up every last card. And he's like, you could hear him from down there. It was really quiet. It's really weird when you're in a quiet arena with no music or anything. He's like, you going to show me some magic afterwards? I'm like, you bet I am. He's like, you're good. I'm like, all right. So I did. And I never hit the Jumbotron, by the way. So, which was a disappointment because I was really trying. I was fucking winging these cards as fucking far as I could. Couldn't get it. I was a good 50, 75 feet from the Jumbotron. But with the ventilation and the air conditioning and everything in there, because you got the fumes and all that, that's what was catching with the cards, and they wouldn't travel. As soon as they hit the ventilation, they would flutter. But, like, we would hang out. I would do magic tricks for everybody in the back. We would play games, like bring the RC cars out and drive them around. Like, we had a snowball fight one year. We brought snow into the arena and threw it around. Oh, man, the dirt crew was not happy about that. But we did it. And let me tell you something, man. Monster Jam is unlike any other sport because it's... How do I describe it? It's kind of like pro wrestling, but without the need to hide the fact that everybody knows each other backstage. You know what I mean? Everybody, like all of the drivers are there for one reason, and that's to entertain the audience. They all love each other. They all help each other out. They all cheer for each other. Yeah, there's rivalries like Tom Mintz and Dennis Anderson, the Max D versus Gravedigger rivalry. You've got guys, Jimmy Cretin and, freaking his crew versus everybody because Jimmy's the independent. Same thing with Jim Kohler. And it's just really cool seeing all these guys and the other hugging backstage. And they're like, hey, man, good job out there. That was a crazy trick you did. And if something breaks, all of them band together and help fix the truck because they're not there for the money. The Feld guys are going to get paid either way. The Indy guys, they have their fees. They're going to get paid. They go out there for the crowds, which is the coolest thing, you know? So it's really nice knowing it that you go there and everybody's friends and everybody's signing autographs and everybody's taking pictures, you know? Such a great, great atmosphere. Let me tell you, man, Monster Jam, and as political as it's gotten over the last couple of years and as boring as it's gotten, I'll say that because I'm allowed to. I've been a fan since 1995, okay? I still remember seeing fucking Bigfoot. I mean, granted, Bigfoot's still around, but I remember, like, the OG Bigfoot. Okay? I remember when Tom Mintz was still driving mud trucks. Back when he, like, first broke into the monster truck scene. He was driving Monster Patrol, which has always been my favorite monster truck. But I remember all of this, you know? Back when they were actually racing for prize money. So it's like, I can critique them. I've spent plenty of my money on their product. I used to collect the little, well, I still kind of do, the little 1/64 scale Hot Wheels monster trucks that you could find in, like, Walmart. I had every single truck from 2000 and, when did they come out? 2003? 2002. From every truck from 2002 to 2011, I had every single one. You know, I always made sure I bought front row seats. I had a program every year. I'd buy, like, souvenir cups. My money was well spent with Monster Jam. And I don't regret it. I fucking love it. Still do. I'm friends with a lot of the drivers on Facebook. I follow at least 20 monster truck pages. I follow collector pages. I follow fan pages. Everything, dude. So it's like, I can say that the shows have gotten dull and boring and rushed. Because they want to get in there, do the show, and just get the fuck out. You know? To me, things aren't as impressive. Like, I could care less if I see a monster truck do a backflip, because it's done at every show. You know, like with the World Finals this weekend, like we were going to get into. There's going to be a lot of crazy stunts. A lot of crazy events happening, you know? Like, I'm curious with this new track design that they're doing. I want to see how that's going to work out. You know, I don't know who's going to win freestyle or racing. I know it's a 2-day event. They used to do it in Las Vegas, and now they do it in Florida, and I guess next year is going to be in Nashville. So it's like, finally, now it's starting to travel. So, I'm excited. But the World Finals is this weekend, so anybody who's listening to this, if you're a friend of mine who's going to be out there, have fun. If you're a driver that I know, have fun, be careful. You guys always know how to... You guys know how to make it fucking work, man. I'll always be a fan, I'm going to tell you that right now. If it ever got down to the point where I had to choose between wrestling and monster trucks, I'd choose monster trucks. Simply because I will not get pissed at the results every week. And it's still a fun time. But yeah, World Finals this weekend. World Finals 21 was supposed to happen in 2020. And then we were, like, all these monster truck fans and I, like, we're all collectively getting excited. Finally, the World Finals in the year are going to match. Because they did the original Monster Jam World Finals in the year 2000. That was World Finals 1. So 2001 was World Finals 2. So the number year would be one less than the number of World Finals. So when COVID hit, they canceled the World Finals. And we're all like, fuck yeah, 2021, it's going to be World Finals 21. Finally, the years are going to match. And then for some reason, they didn't do it last year. This is well after Florida had opened. So we don't know why. But this weekend, they got it all set up. They got the new track down. I guess Tom Mintz and Maximum Destruction, they're going to be doing a fucking crazy stunt. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I heard it's some sort of backflip, like a backwards backflip. Like, he's going to be... How the fuck did they describe it? He's going to be driving backwards. He's going to hit a ramp, which is going to propel the truck backwards. Like, he's going to do a backflip while going backwards. Like a backwards momentum backflip. If that makes any sort of sense. So it's like if the truck was going to like do a front flip, but backwards. If that makes any sort of sense. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then you've got the Gravedigger 40th anniversary, celebration, which, dude, let's face it, Gravedigger is everybody's favorite truck. Whether he's your favorite or he's your, you're just okay. You know who Gravedigger is. You're gonna go and you're gonna want to see Gravedigger, okay? I hear Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood, and that's Gravedigger, because that's the fucking song. I fucking teared up watching Dennis Anderson go into the Monster Jam Hall of Fame because I remember seeing Dennis. Dennis Anderson signed one of my, the fuck was it, a hat? He signed a yearbook. Signed one of my yearbooks. So, I could say, dude, I've seen Dennis Anderson. I've seen him a couple times, actually. But, he hasn't changed over 40 years. You watch videos of him from back in the 80s, and he's still that same fucking guy. And he's the same guy as from when I met him the first time. Loves all the fans, stays for everybody. He'll tell security to fuck off. And I know that because that happened. Stafford Springs one year, I was the last person in line to get an autograph. And they just started walking away. And Dennis is like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? He's over there. What are you doing? So they were walking away because I guess they had to start the show. Well, he remembered me. And made sure that I got everything that I had signed. My yearbook. I think I had a t-shirt. Might have had a monster truck. Everything I had, I got signed by him. So, let me tell you, man, these drivers, they love their fans, and they're going to put on one hell of a show, which is why, I wish I can go, but now that I know, the World Finals next year is going to be in Nashville, I wonder if they're going to bring it to MetLife or Gillette Stadium or something, because I'll go. I will fucking go. Especially if it's at Gillette. Hell yeah, I'll go. So, but all right, guys, I'm going to get going. Let me actually upload this thing now that I'm thinking about it. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you were able to enjoy this podcast, almost an hour of it. I told you, we're going to get the shitty shit out of the way first, then we're going to get into some good stuff. Talked about some golf. Golf always makes me happy. Talked about my Monster Jam experience. I love that. What's new in wrestling? Not a damn clue. Haven't been keeping up with it, even though I should. Maybe next week I'll brush up on what's going on and figure everything out. So, but guys, thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week. I'm Chris Langle with Chris Langle Magic. This is the Magician with a Microphone podcast. I'll talk to you later.